then completely ignore it, just like you always should.
Exactly. And it's going to be right out of the edit.
Can't tell.
Yeah. Oh, I see the two hairs.
Yeah, I haven't shaved in like 4 days, dude.
That's how it looked when you hadn't shaved for 5 months.
I've just never seen you with stubble, ever.
I look like someone who shouldn't be driving around in a van looking for kids.
Welcome back to Not a Strong Start, a podcast by filmmakers who talk movies, television, and do not drive in white vans circling schools. I'm your host, Daniel Sangre.
I am Jose.
I'm Chuck.
That's it. That's all you guys got?
Yeah.
We had already covered the OG Latino actors. So in this week's episode, we want to talk about upcoming actors. But first, let's hit them with the current event.
DC, WB is actually at it again.
Yes!
Yep.
It's a drinking game.
Yeah, so usually you can count at least once per month that you're going to hear something from WB Discovery. So basically, supposedly Wonder Woman has been shelved. Wonder Woman 3 has been shelved. Supposedly Patty Jenkins is no longer involved with Wonder Woman. Some rumors say that she didn't want to change her script to what they wanted and she walked off. Other rumors say that they just didn't want it. They just kind of asked her to leave. Either way, it's shelved currently. And then there's rumors coming out. They're uncertain about other projects such as another Aquaman or Man of Steel 2, which everyone was just excited about after Black Adam. Again, this is all the rumorville, but with WB Discovery, it's probably true. What do you guys think?
That would suck. I know she released a statement, but it's one of those things where people text you and you either say sorry that happened or congratulations because it's just too long to read. Yeah, so I didn't read it, but I guess she tried to clear the air, or not the air, try to clean up stuff or whatever. But I didn't read it, so I don't know. But supposedly she's back on with Star Wars. Yeah. So, but as far as WB, like, I was kind of looking forward to Superman. So, and then I think with Aquaman, I didn't really care, I guess, but it seems like he might be cast as Lobo, maybe. I don't know. So, but it's WB Discovery. Who knows? There was even a rumor out that Pattinson's Batman was going to be part of that like universe, and then supposedly like James Gunn shut it down. But I don't know.
Dang, he did already? I just read that.
Yeah,
So
he shut it down.
shut
It was like, nah,
Dang.
that's fake news. So
yeah, because they wanted that. What's his name? Matt Reeves. Supposedly, this is pre all these changes. They were going to allow him to kind of build his own little world with like the TV shows and Batman and maybe like the villains and all of that separate from the DCU. But I did read the Patty thing, and it was basically they were saying like, no, I didn't walk away from it. I even said I was willing to work with it, but you know, this is the decision they want to make. So again, it's just he said, she said right now. The only concrete thing is that it's shelved.
I know James Gunn mentioned that Superman is supposed to be very DC centric, right? Like he's supposed to be DC heavy on where the direction that they're going. So maybe they shelved the idea that they had for Man of Steel 2, but maybe they're going to do something different with it. Because for James Gunn stepping into this DC role, you have to get Superman right.
And I feel like you touched on something important to that. Like part of me feels that he does kind of want a fresh slate in there and kind of just, restart. The problem with that is the toxic fan base who really want this SnyderVerse to like live on. They're the most vocal.
I'm assuming that there's gonna be a Black Adam too, right? I mean, do they
I don't know, dude.
That was another one that was like, it's not looking good. Supposedly, and again, this is another supposedly, the DC executives and stuff were not too happy with The Rock's marketing campaign basically like putting himself on the forefront and
Yeah.
pushing the Cavill, Henry Cavill aspect of it and all that stuff. I think they felt like he painted them into a corner where they had to go
He also
forward with
flubbed the
it.
numbers. Did you see that? He flubbed
Yeah,
the numbers. It's
he
like
came out with the receipts, and they didn't have his back. They were like, yeah, no.
that's weird. So now you're making him look like a liar. So how do you is that gonna sever the relationship? Like, is he gonna have a bad taste with Warner Brothers or at least specifically just DC? Like, I mean, why put that out there? Like, why put that out there for us to see this?
It'll just be another relationship that WB Discovery is slowly dismantling, along with other companies and directors and actors. They're just gonna slowly sour as many relationships as possible.
So basically what they've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So getting to our main topic. So this is our first episode in the new year's. So how do you guys feel? Nas actually survived 2022 and we're on to 2023. How do you guys feel?
New year, new me,
I do. Longer beard, longer Jose.
Exactly. I've been growing this since last year, so it's the length has gotten a little long.
Yes. By the time we get to next year, you're just gonna have a ZZ Top beard. Do it. All right. So in this week's episode, again, we're talking about up and coming Latino actors. It's a little misleading because we're also going to be talking about actors that are currently like on that level A, but we still wanted to include them anyways because we're not even at the prime of their careers yet. I feel like they still have a lot more movies that are coming up. They're sort of taking over that mantle of the A-list celebrity status.
In the last one, we covered the OGs. It was people who had been doing it for a long time, had some of their top movies, like maybe, over a decade or two ago, and kind of were in the twilight of their career, even though they were still doing things. And this is more like, ones that are either just hitting it big, they might have been doing things, and then now they're kind of blowing up, or they're still in their prime in there. So this is kind of what we're going into here. Yeah, we got a little leeway. We bent the rule a little bit, but whatever. The rules are meant to be bent a little bit. And
Our show,
broken.
our rules.
Exactly.
Let's get into the first one, Jose, if you want to name it off.
All right. Well, let's start with Rachel Zegler, Colombian descent.
The last name, it doesn't sound very Hispanic to me, so it could be a stage name. It's gonna take a gander at that.
Zegler.
Zegler.
Zegler. Yeah.
Zegler.
The first thing I saw her in was in Shazam, and then she did West Side Story, where she played the iconic role of Maria. Then she's in, I know some upcoming stuff she's doing is Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which, like when Hunger Games first came out, the books, I don't know if you guys ever read the books. I'm going to assume not, but I read the books.
Of course you did.
Of course.
No, you didn't, dude. Stop
yes,
lying.
I did. Yes, I did.
You're like,
He didn't only read them. He read them in French.
Exactly. Zegler. So just read a book, Chuck. Read a book. Just once in a while.
I'm in a book club, bro.
No, you are not in a book
club. Yes, I am in a book club, dude.
And that's a Nas made up fact. Woo!
I gotta say this, Chuck. When you were doing your little thing, I was like, oh damn, Chuck's really taking this whole like Hispanic episode thing because it looked like you had a maraca in your hand. I'm like, oh yeah, Chuck's really selling. He brought props and everything.
Yeah, that's a voodoo doll. It's for Dan.
The way you were holding it, it looked like you had a maraca in your hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get the
let's go over this actress who I've never heard of. Woo! Yeah.
Okay, but the big thing that she's gonna be on is she's playing Snow White in the new Snow White movie. So good stuff, man. You're casting a Hispanic female lead in that role. All power, man. We're slowly taking over franchises, one role at a time. So Chuck, give us your feedback on Rachel. I want some in-depth analysis here.
She's amazing. I loved her in West Side Story. And actually, she did her own singing in that movie, too. She didn't have anybody else doing that first. So she did her own singing, her own dancing and all that, which is pretty good. She trained for about think they said like a year or something like that for her for the part. So it's pretty good. It's pretty dedicated. I made all that up, dude.
Yes, we know you did. You
Yeah.
had no idea what she was.
What she did do her own singing in there for it. Just a few tidbits that I did see on her, like to get that role, there was like 30,000 people. They came for the open audition for Maria, and she
Including
beat out
Dan.
30,000 people in there. Wait, including what?
Dan also.
Oh, yeah.
Tried for that part.
Dan actually got it, and he turned it down.
I did, because I just felt like at this time I don't want to play Maria.
Funny little tidbit of regarding her. So West Side Story, it was successful, and they got nominated for it got all these nominations. She actually did not get an invite to the Academy Awards, even though
I
the
remember
movie
that. I remember
that she was the lead in got these nominations. She didn't get an invite at all. But then, like, the guy who originally played Riff in the old West Side Story, he spoke up for her. And then, the representation aspect of it. So then he was able to finesse it where she got an invite finally. And not only got an invite, she was able to be a presenter at the Academy Awards. So I felt like that was like really good, where, someone who played one of the characters in the past, noticed like, hey, she should be up there.
Yeah. It also makes you feel like the fact that they made her present. I mean, come on, clearly they're doing damage control on this. How do you not invite her, man? Maria is one of the most prominent characters of the entire musical. So, like, I don't get it. I don't know.
Like, not even in the nosebleeds, not even get her a seat in the nosebleeds, like get her in the building.
Yeah. No, you get it. You get it.
Yeah.
We get it.
But this is one of the actresses in this list who it's still green. They're still at the beginning of it. She's kind of just getting started. West Side Story was her big one. Like Dan mentioned, she's got the Hunger Games, she's got Shazam, she's got Snow White. Yeah. She's got Snow White and the Seven Muchachos coming. We can move on to the next one.
Yeah. All
right. This one these days doesn't need much of an introduction at all, seeing as we started this list before her show came out, and then now she's exploded everywhere, and that is Jenna Ortega, the Mexican Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, good representation of our show.
Yeah. Chuck, you want to start this one off?
Yeah, she's pretty awesome. I didn't watch the show, but I did see her in Scream.
Way to represent our people. Way to support our people.
Dude, I was gonna watch it, and then you were like, Luis Guzman's kind of sucked. I didn't like him in it, and I was like, I'm over it.
She did phenomenal in it, though. I liked her in it. Jose, you saw it, right?
Oh yeah, no, she absolutely killed it. Like, she deserves the admiration she's getting right now for this role. I think I ended up being a perfect cast, and she embodied the character. And then just seeing like little interviews for it, like just the thought process she put into creating this character. I mean, even that dance is blowing up everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, she choreographed that herself like 2 days before, and she learned the cello like going in there.
Cello.
And while filming it, she was learning another language for another thing that she's like filming. So like, that's someone I feel her potential is just like being nipped right now. Like, she's gonna go through the roof. She was in Scream, like Chuck mentioned. She's gonna be in the new Scream. X was another hit that she had.
She was an X?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
she was the one that wanted to be in the movie.
She was working. Yeah, she was working on the film crew, and then she was
with the cameraman. Oh shit, that was her.
That was her.
Yeah.
Dang, I didn't know.
I mean, she's been around for a while, so she's just blowing up now. But she started doing TV back in like 2012. And I had to go back to look because I didn't remember her. But she was in Iron Man 3. She was the vice president's daughter in there. Wow. But she's been in a bunch of little things. But now, like, she's rising like towards her peak.
Yeah, and I knew she did like Disney and stuff, so that's a huge testament to her because she went from Disney to going to X and now doing Wednesday. So the fact that she's able to be so versatile with it, I know in several interviews, she's always mentioned that Wednesday Addams, like the Addams, like they're Latin, they're Hispanic, but they never really exemplify that. They never really showcase that. And in this one, the Wednesday show, they did it a lot more. So I appreciate it, man. She's doing well for her people. I know she mentioned about how her mom was like she grew up around this area, I think in Palm Desert area, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. And the mom was driving her out to Hollywood to go to auditions and stuff, and basically just commuting her each time and taking her in the dedication. And now here
Yeah,
she is, man.
I heard that the show has generated like over 1 billion hours on Netflix.
It's I think the second highest, right?
Oh,
Ever
all
streamed.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
None
More
of those hours
than
were for me.
Stranger Things. Not one.
Not one.
Not one. Not one.
Not even half.
No.
Supposedly they already have either, I don't know if it's an outline or a script, but like 2 more seasons already pretty much planned out.
Thursday, Friday?
Pending approval, yes.
Yeah.
No Saturday though. That's where they're saying that you only work on the weekdays.
Yeah. I made a cello joke, and then he goes and follows up with that one.
You know what? Just for everybody, I got karma right now. I hit like the ball of like my ankle on my chair, and it really hurt. Like right after that stupid joke. So
good, you earned it.
Yeah.
Now we're getting flagged for the different word. I'm just gonna see a message that just says flagged, bad humor. It's like, all right, let's do the next one.
Get into the next one. I feel like we should go to your boy Dan. Gal Garcia Bernal.
Yeah.
I mean, his boy. That's my cousin, bro.
Nah, yeah, but you guys don't get along though. He doesn't like you.
Yeah, that's true.
He can be both your cousins.
This dude, the very first thing I ever saw him in was in Y Tu Mama También with Diego Luna.
What'd you say about my mama?
Your mom too,
dude.
And yours too, Chuck. Everybody's mom.
Yeah, you know what? Real quick. I never saw that movie because my girlfriend at the time cheated on me, and she went to go watch that movie with the dude she cheated on me with. So it took me like 15 years to finally watch it.
But you did watch it.
Yeah, I watched it, and I still thought about her and cried when I watched it.
Cried when you watched it.
And it was such a sexy movie too. I thought they totally banged after.
Or after?
Probably
or
during.
Or during.
Yeah.
All right. That's a Nas straight up fact. Yeah. But he also did a movie that I really like called Amores Perros. I don't know if you guys seen that one. That one was a really good movie.
Yeah, very pretentious. I'm not surprised. Mm-hmm.
Because it's a Hispanic movie and I'm celebrating our people. Werewolf by Night. Awesome in Werewolf by Night. And apparently he's playing Zorro in a new Zorro movie. Interesting. I mean, I still think of Antonio Banderas every time, but he's a good choice. He's a good choice.
I thought that was supposed to come out already, but
2024.
Okay.
That's
you know what? One of my favorite movies he did was The Science of Sleep. Did you ever see that?
Mm-hmm.
Love that movie, dude. Do you like it or not?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, he's been in some low key, good projects. He was in Motorcycle Diaries.
Coco.
Coco. That show, I never watched it, but I know it was a hit, and people kept talking about like Mozart in the Jungle. So he did that.
Old.
Yeah.
I like that movie. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I didn't expect much from it, but I enjoyed it.
It was by what M. Night Shyamalan has been putting out over his career. This is one of the better ones out of the stuff that he's put out.
I liked it. Yeah.
It was a little predictable. You kind of had a sense of where it was going, but it was done. It was interesting. It caught my attention. He did great in it. I like him.
I mean, the guy is.
I was shocked by all of it. It was not predictable. No one's ever said that. I was like, where's this going? Oh my God. And then it happened. And I was like, whoa, did not see that coming. It was so great.
It was a good twist. I enjoyed the twist. And, this is a guy, he's played so many different types of roles. So really talented, great actor. I mean, I guess it makes sense. I believe, and Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, both his parents kind of came from the industry. They were like actors, directors, and things like that. So this is what he grew up in.
Yeah.
You know, so you see, he probably got his training since the early childhood, and
Mhm.
it shows just by, you know, he never let himself get pigeonholed or typecasted. He's got all
Yeah.
different types of roles.
Yeah, I
So that's
remember
something
him
that
doing acting and stuff when we were younger. Like he always wanted to be an actor. Like always. Like he was always like, I'm an actor, and I'm like, what are you doing? Let's play baseball. And he's like, no, I want to act. Like it was cool. It was cool.
Chuck is like the little brother. Chuck is like our little brother. Just like, hey, shut up. Get out of here.
Chuck would put on his movies and TV shows on TV and just like act like he was in it with him and kind of growing up with him.
He was
Let's
Diego
go see
Luna
that werewolf. Come on.
I
with
didn't
his
do that a
cardboard
month
cutout.
ago. What are you talking about?
Transitioning to the next one, I feel we should go with one of his good friends,
Yeah.
Diego Luna. You know,
Yeah.
him and Bernal are tight. They're really good friends and both amazing actors.
Mhm.
So Chuck, you want to start us off with Diego?
Diego is Andor, which I've never seen, but I hear good things about it. But one thing I do know about Diego Luna is when Rogue One came out.
Rogue One.
Yeah, he went with his dad to go watch the movie, and
Mhm.
like his dad was like all emotional and stuff, and told him he's like it was because of a Mexican that we took down
Save
Darth
the
Vader,
universe.
save the universe.
Save
Yeah,
the
and I was
universe.
like, yes, and I was like, if they ever come out with a show, I'm gonna watch it,
And you didn't.
and I didn't.
And you didn't.
Yeah, but
And you still
that to
haven't.
me is one of
Yeah.
the most best proudest moments of like Latino like actors. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
we
It's a
dude, we
proud
took
moment.
dude,
Yeah,
we took
yeah,
down the what do they call the Empire? Yeah,
Took down the Empire.
it
And
took
he's
on
the
the
best.
Empire.
He's the best Star Wars character to come out probably since like Han
Jar Jar
Solo. Like
Binks.
that kind of no. But like Andor and Rogue One are arguably the best Star Wars product to come out outside of the original trilogy, in my opinion. I think Andor is by far the best show. Even though Mandalorian was good, you know, it felt very bubblegum, you know, safe. The thing with Andor is that it doesn't, and it really tackles that real life threat, and it's awesome, man. He does such a brilliant job with it. He even did good in the Book of Life. You know what I mean? Like the Book of Life was a great cartoon movie, great animated movie. Good job,
Mm.
Yeah.
Diego. Mhm.
And of course, we can't forget Narcos.
Yeah.
Yeah, he killed it in Narcos. You know, Narcos Mexico, and that just the character development and how you see that character grow into where he's at the end. It was just
Hmm.
pure like amazing acting.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like between this and Andor, I guess Rogue One, you put them in the same category. No, there's a complexity to like the characters that he portrays. They're
Yeah.
not cookie cutter
Mm-mm.
characters, and I think that's one of his strengths
Yeah.
as an actor. I mean, he's been acting since the '90s, but I feel Rogue One was the point where his career has kind of started to take off.
Hmm.
Like that put him out there because it introduced him to all the Star Wars nerds that probably would not have seen one of his other projects. All right, for the next one, we're gonna get to someone who's kind of like Jenna Ortega, just starting to rise, and that's Yara Gonzalez.
So some of the projects she's worked on, Godzilla versus Kong, I Care a Lot, which is more of a newer movie that came out on Netflix, I believe, right? I think it was
Mhm.
Netflix.
Yep.
She was in Alita Battle Angel. Ha, 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 ha. She didn't play Alita though. And then she was in Baby Driver. So good projects,
Yeah.
like yeah, a couple of good projects. Alita, I love Alita. I feel like it's vastly underrated. Wish they got a sequel. They didn't. Baby Driver's a good one, man. Edgar Wright. Can't complain about it. Godzilla versus Kong, you know, entertaining movie. I mean, you
She
know,
the
we know
bad
they're
guy.
getting a sequel.
Yes.
She was the bad
Yep.
guy, right? She was like the daughter of the dude,
Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
Latino dude,
She's the daughter of a guy. Yes.
the daughter of the other Latino dude, the guy that made Mecha. Yeah, okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
Yeah. No, she was good. She was also in Ambulance, that Netflix series.
Mm-hmm.
So she was in that. She was in the Dust Till Dawn series. She played Salma Hayek's character in the Dust Till Dawn series.
I haven't seen I Care a Lot. But you know, I've heard pretty good things about it. I want to see more of her. It seems exactly like you said, Jose. She's starting to grow, so she hasn't had like her Wednesday type project yet, where she's like the sole main focus of it. So I want to see her do that. I want to see her expand. Let's see it.
Yeah, I agree. I saw Akira a lot. She was also a secondary character in that too. So I think you're right.
Mhm.
Only probably ambulance was the closest thing to a major role, but she was probably the focus was on Gyllenhaal,
Mhm.
and I can't think of his name right now, but the focus was on them, not on her. So we'll probably going to see a lot of good things from her
Mhm.
going forward. Perfect time to transition to someone who we've already seen big things from, with a little Argentinian descent in there, Anna Taylor-Joy in
Yeah.
there, which I'm not going to lie, when I did not know she was Hispanic. Uh,
She's mixed. Yeah, she's mixed, but she definitely has that. I believe she grew up in Spain for a little while, if I'm not mistaken. But she is quickly rising up to the A-list status. If she's not, I believe she's already there. I can completely see her eventually getting Oscar nominated, eventually winning. She already has an Emmy under her belt for The Queen's Gambit. She's awesome, man. Like ever since I've seen her, I think the first thing I saw her in was
The
it
Witch.
might have been The Witch, and then she immediately did Split. And then
Okay.
Queen's Gambit is when she shines. She's coming out. She plays Princess Peach in Super Mario Brothers, but it's really Furiosa. That's where I'm kind of
mhm.
excited to see what she
Okay.
does with that role. She's crushing it, man. She did such a good job. I saw Last Night in Soho, the other Edgar Wright project.
Yeah.
She did good in that, man. She's phenomenal. She's rising up there, and like you said, I didn't know she was Hispanic either until we kind of started doing some of our research on some of this stuff. But all to it, man. Props. Represent our people. We come in different shades and different faces. Chuck.
It was funny because like you and Chuck both mentioned The Witch,
Yeah.
and as I was doing my research, I read that going into The Witch, she had very little acting experience. She had done like one acting class, and then
Wow.
she was in The Witch, and then her career kind
Jesus.
of took off from there. So that's just natural talent that you have
Hmm.
from her. So that of course, she will hone it over time, but
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
just came out being able to act pretty much.
Yeah. And it didn't
Hmm.
do great, and it wasn't great, but she was in X-Men, the New Mutants.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah, she
Yeah.
was. She didn't do bad in it. The movie was bad, but she didn't
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
bad.
No, she does a
So
good performance, man. Yeah. I see her doing a lot more. She's gonna be lead actress, and so much stuff coming out, and I'm excited for it.
Was
She's
she
gonna
in
finish
the
up.
she's in something else that's out right now, right? Is she in Amsterdam?
y-
Yep.
yes,
She's in
she which I
Amsterdam.
still need to see, but yeah, she was in
She has a
that.
smaller
She's
part though.
Did you see it,
yeah.
Dan, or
I saw the first, I think, 30 minutes of it, so I need to go back and finish it. But
not good? I heard it wasn't good.
it was okay.
Mm.
It was okay. I mean, it's pretty good, but like the story just kind of started to go, so I want to see more of it. But Christian Bale's phenomenal, man. That guy's so good to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So.
Funny little tidbit about Anna Taylor-Joy. So her family, she grew up pretty much in Argentina.
Hmm.
And then due to like the political situation that was going on over there, her family felt it was like better and safer to move, and they moved to like Europe. Uh, but she like missed home so much. For the first like bit of it, she refused to learn English, thinking that if she didn't learn English, her parents would just bring her back to Argentina.
That's
It
cool.
didn't work, needless to say. And now she knows English. Going on to the next one. Think we need to go with Pedro Pascal.
Yeah. You want to lead us,
Yeah.
Chuck?
Pedro Pascal, I know he's done stuff before, but the first thing I really noticed him in was Prince Oberyn in Game of Thrones.
The Red
That
Viper.
Yeah, and he was so good in that episode where, spoiler alert, he gets his skull crushed. One of the most disturbing things I've ever seen.
It was, man. I remember watching that live, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I got physically repulsed watching that scene because it was so realistic.
I got so much anxiety. Like I remember I had to like drive, and then I even like looked him up like online to make sure he was still alive. Like I
Yeah.
was like, and then there was a picture with him in the mountain at the beach having a good time, and I'm like, makes me feel better. Had to go to therapy the next day. I just happened to have a therapy session the next day, and I totally talked about it. But
Mhm.
nah, dude, he's freaking awesome, dude. And he's not like, it's his acting that really is catapulting him, into like an A-lister, because like he doesn't look like freaking Brad Pitt or anything, you know what I mean? So it's like his acting and his charisma that's really getting him these roles and having him be successful,
Yeah.
And so he's pretty good. I love that guy.
Yeah, I loved him in that. That was the first time I saw him too, and he was only in a handful of episodes, but he was so good. He was
Stole
so
every scene.
energetic.
Yeah.
Everything. And then I really, of course, he does The Mandalorian as we just mentioned, but he's doing The Last of Us. That's going to be good when it's coming out, but I don't know if you guys ever watched The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. He was so good in that role, and in my opinion, he outshined Nick Cage playing Nick Cage in that role. I thought he was so good in that role. He did such a good job. And even though it was kind of it felt very more like an independent kind of dark comedy, he brought exactly what you were saying, Chuck. His acting is that he's so phenomenal that he adds credibility, whereas a lesser actor wouldn't have done nearly as well with that role. And even though it was ridiculous and like stupid things, where he's where he's over that little wall and he thinks he's gonna die, but you believe it. It just adds more to the humor because it feels so realistic. It was just, he's an incredible actor.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah. And kind of like with Garcia Bernal, there's been the variety of characters that he's played. So just like you guys, Game of Thrones, Oberon, that's the first time I really saw him. And he immediately became one of my favorite characters. And that should have been the first sign for me that he was gonna die, because that's what Game of Thrones does. As soon as you like someone, they're like, kill him.
Yeah.
But he did that, and then kind of like Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. He had this other movie, bad movie. It was on Netflix. It was called The Bubble. I think it came out like last year, and he just played this very eccentric, like out there character, like so different from his like Mandalorian character. And even though the movie was bad, when he was in the scene, you were watching him. Like he was the entertainment of that scene, even though like everyone else in it were good actors or entertaining actors. He was the one that was drawing the attention. So I feel with him, we're just at the beginning. He's gonna keep getting more things, and we're gonna see more of a takeoff from him also. So
Yeah,
he's definitely one of my top ones out there too.
I feel he's definitely getting an Oscar in his career. Like it's inevitable. It's on the horizon, and I hope he gets it soon. Maybe he could be a double time winner.
These are two people that are highly recognizable right now. Here we go. We're gonna get with the Puerto Rican, Aubrey Plaza, the Boricua. This is someone, she's like found her niche with the whole like deadpan delivery and like the attitude. I think I saw a video the other day where they were doing this YouTube video where she was reading like basically thirsty tweets from people. 75% from Chuck, but
no, like I said, my Twitter account has been banned, so I'm no longer
because of the thirsty post you were tweeting at her.
But it was funny because of like these characters that she's played. She called it at the beginning. She was like, watch, people are just gonna be talking about me stepping on their face or like stabbing them or anything like that. Lo and behold, the majority of the tweets were like, I want you to step on my face. I want you to stab me. Like, I want you...
Who wants their face stepped on? Jesus.
But stepped on with.
But there was sneakers, shoes, boots,
heels,
flip-flops with spikes. But yeah, she's like created this like persona, with like Parks and Rec, her character in that one, where people are now, they associate her with that. What do you guys think?
It kind of has like that Daria feel. Remember that cartoon on MTV?
That's
like
a good one. That's a good
she very much,
right?
Huh?
It originated from Beavis and Butthead, right? Wasn't she like
don't
chilling
remember.
with them?
I don't remember if it was. They might have done it as like a cross promotion to like promote her character, maybe. But
I know she did.
Yeah, I know she did Safety Not Guaranteed. That was one of the big ones that she did. But she has so much stuff coming out. Like you said, she did Parks and Rec, but she did she's in Agatha, Covenant Chaos. She's gonna be in that. She did a couple. I mean, she just came out with The White Lotus season 2. I know you guys don't watch it, but
I started it.
Did you? The second season's phenomenal. The first season's really good too. Like I really recommend it, but the second season's even better. She's in that one. Really good, but she did a couple of independent stuff. She's now producing. So she has her own production company called Evil Hag Productions, but not only is she acting in these independent projects, she's producing it. So she's taking a business side on it. She did a really good one called Ingrid Goes West, and one that I just saw on
That was good.
Netflix called
Emily?
Emily the Criminal. I
That
just
was
saw
so
that one. I was
good.
like, dude,
That was so
good,
good.
man. She's really good in this stuff. And exactly what you were saying was she has like that deadpan, but we're kind of seeing a wider range of it. And I give her so much respect for how she's she even came out with a book called The Legend of the Christmas Witch. Like she's expanding, man. She's not just like your typical traditional actress and like that's what she's sticking to. She's becoming an entrepreneur, she's becoming like a business person. And like I love it, man. That helps you establish your like it really helps you establish in this industry where you're not just predicated on just projects that you're being offered, right? Because that's always kind of some of the issue that they had for actresses back then, where as they age out with certain things, that's where they had a lot of ageism because they weren't being offered a lot of type of roles. But if you become a producer and you start getting your hands on the business side of things, you now control your shots and dictate what type of film projects you're bringing on. So huge props to her.
Yeah, she did something different a while back. She was in Legion on FX. Did you guys ever check that out?
I didn't, but I
Oh
knew of it.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. It was unfortunate that got canceled. I like
Yeah,
that
that was
show.
a really good show. It was it's a mutants, X-Men, pretty much. It's like it was based on the Xavier's brother.
She was in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. She had a small part
Yeah.
in that. She was good.
And
She was good
the
in
new
that.
Child's Play, she was in that too.
She did good in that one too.
In that one, that was a softer character, you know, and it was like, you know, again, you see her character in Parks and Rec,
Yeah.
and then you see her character in Child's Play, and it's a warmer character, more, you know, motherly and things like that, and she was able to make that believable. Even if in the
Yes.
back of your mind you have her other characters, it was like that
Yeah.
other character would never like
Have
associate
a
with a
kid.
child.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Never anything with a child. And to see her as a mother, I believed it. Right. Like,
yeah.
because even that personality that you were talking about, where it's sort of like very antisocial, right? Like very introverted, negative. She played that into being a mother, and you see why she was so angry because you know their cash flow situation coming in and how she needed to get this toy, you know, this expensive toy for her son. She did a good job.
She's got range. Like I said, people associate her with that deadpan delivery and all of that stuff because that Parks and Rec ran for so long. That's kind
So
of what
long,
you
yeah.
see her as. But
April.
she's definitely has that range. And I think
Yeah.
the strength of her career is I can't say I've seen her in a cookie cutter role. All her characters are they're complicated. They're out there. They're dysfunctional. They're damaged.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot to the characters that she plays, even in more minor roles.
And that's what makes you wonder if it's her bringing some of that to the role. You know what I
She
mean?
has, yeah.
Because some of them could have just been somewhat cookie cutter, and she's adding all these different elements to it, you know. And her, like, you know, speaking of Parks and Rec, her and Chris Pratt had phenomenal chemistry together. That they were like the best part of the show for me was them.
We will end it with a little Guatemala.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar Isaac, phenomenal actor. You want to start us off, Chuck?
Super handsome. I feel like I look in the mirror sometimes and I'm like, Oscar Isaac? No, it's me. I know what's his background. Did he go to Juilliard or something like that? Is that his back? Like he's a performer, right? Before he
I know
started
he's a
acting.
performer, yeah.
Yeah, like he
I know
was.
he's like a singer guitarist.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
he did go to school there, and the first thing I really saw him in was Drive. He played like the lame-o dad who got his ass beat and then got shot with a shotgun. And it was cool, but I didn't really think much of it, And then he came out in Sucker Punch. I think that was the next thing I remember him in. And then all of a sudden, he's just freaking everywhere, dude. Poe, is his name Poe in
Poe Dameron.
Poe Dameron, Star Wars, which I didn't really see. Oh, I saw the first one. Moon Knight, Triple Frontier, Inside Llewyn Davis.
One of my favorite movies or performances by him is Ex Machina. I loved
Yes.
him in Ex Machina. I love that movie. Sucker Punch was the first one that I really recall and remember him in it. He did really good in that movie. But Ex Machina, man, he did such a good job because it's such a it's one single location for the most part for the movie. It's a single location, but the stakes, everything's kind of so low. And when you have like a single location, so much emphasis is placed on your characters. And he does such a good job of playing an emotional, complicated guy
Yeah.
that's
He's a
trying to
scary
kind of keep
dude.
it cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he
a scary
does.
dude. He's a scary character. That's a
hmm
scary character.
He did a very scary character, and you kind of see the craziness, with him. It's always the definition of insanity of genius and insanity, and you kind of see him delving between both of them because he's been isolated for so many years. Really good movie, great performance, Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually the first movie he was in that he like stood out for me, where I was like, holy crap, this guy's good, was Ex
hmm
Machina. I seen those other movies that he was um, but he didn't really like stick out for me
hmm
in those. But this one, he like stuck out, and I feel that was the point where he kind of started his career started rocketing. I think after he did
hmm
Ex Machina, he got
Yep.
Star Wars, even though it was bad, but he got like X-Men Apocalypse
hmm
after that. And I think that was all within like 3 years on it. So he started getting all these roles. We got Dune, then we got like Moon Knight, like
Dude.
going through. So it's kind of his careers really started to explode after Ex Machina. And I feel we're kind of uh scratching the surface, kind of like with Pedro
hmm
Pascal. We're kind of scratching the surface, and now that he's out there, we're probably gonna see him in even more big roles.
Yeah. I don't blame him for going the franchise route and getting his money. Like, get your money, man. Make yourself well, you and your generations of family set him up. But I want to see him go back to like those kind of ex machina, more independent, just act your butt off type of performances, because like what we're talking about, with Dune and Moon Knight and Star Wars, we don't get to see him. Moon Knight, we were able to see some good acting with that, but I really want to see him bust out some more ex machina type performances.
Yeah. Three things real quick. One,
Mhm.
only Oscar Isaac in Dune has a better beard than Jose.
Only one, the only
Only
one.
one.
Mhm.
Two, did you guys ever see Triple Frontier? With
Yes.
him and Ben Affleck, Pedro Pascal, Charlie Hunnam. It's
No.
Yep.
pretty good. It's pretty good, dude. Check it out. It's on Netflix. And three,
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of annoyed me, but I like them. I like their performances.
check out. Did you guys see Scenes of a Marriage on HBO with
Yes.
Jessica
No.
Chastain? That's
Mhm.
good. He's
Mhm.
had some good
He's great.
good acting in there. If you wanted to see him,
Great.
some acting, yeah.
Mhm.
No, Moon Knight itself for me was disappointing. I was not a fan of Moon Knight. I
Mhm.
think it was like my second lowest show that came out from like the Marvel, or
Mhm.
third lowest show. But there was that one episode. It was like the fifth or the sixth episode
Mhm.
when he's in the asylum,
Mhm.
and the acting in that episode was impeccable when he was
Yeah.
playing both characters and finding out more about his past. Like unbelievable acting. Like
Yep.
if it was just that episode and they didn't include anything else, it would have been a great show just off of that one episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's what I mean. In Moon Knight, just the fact that you had different personalities, that complicates the acting performance that you're giving because you're essentially playing 3, 4, 5 different characters. So he did a good job with it. I agree with what you're saying. If it was a lesser actor in that role, that show would have been last. It probably would have been our least favorite out of all the Marvel shows. But Oscar Isaac, man, the guy's a stud. All right, guys, let's hit him. What's on the queue?
I'm gonna watch Triple Frontier because it's awesome and it has Oscar Isaac and Pedro Pascal. And if you haven't seen it, check it out. Ben Affleck's in it too, and Charlie Hunnam. Jax.
Charlie Hunnam is what got you, didn't it? Charlie Hunnam
It
got
was
you.
all of them, dude. It was all of them. Not gonna lie, dude. I was like, wait, Oscar Isaac, Ben Affleck, Charlie Hunnam, Pedro Pascal, and for good measure, let's throw in Garrett Hedlund too. Why not?
That was a good cast.
Yeah, I mean, I could have played his part and nothing would have changed. All those dudes would have been in there already. Been like, and who's this guy? Who cares? We got everybody else in there.
It must be Gael Garcia's Bernal's cousin. Yeah, it has to
Yeah,
be.
get him.
They grew up together.
Yeah. You didn't see his Instagram pictures? There he is hanging out with them. He with a cardboard cutout.
I feel I'm gonna have to go with Emily the Criminal. I feel that it's a good newer movie from Aubrey Plaza. The movie itself hasn't gotten a lot of attention, but it's really good and shows off, her acting ability and her range.
Good. I was gonna go Ingrid Goes West. She did really good in that. I really
Double
like
Aubrey.
Double Aubrey, man. I mean, she's blowing up, man. She definitely deserves it. But Emily the Criminal, I liked a lot. Ingrid Goes West was a little more entertaining to me, and it was a little more out there. Like to see her character have this neurotic breakdown as the movie goes on when she plays like a crazy person. Great performance, man. Like she fit that perfectly.
That one had Elizabeth Olsen.
Mm.
Yeah.
Redheads. I'm into redheads. Did you guys know this?
No.
I didn't know this. I realized it. I'm like.
So you're into Ron Howard?
No, his brother.
Clint Howard?
That
Clint
weird
Howard.
looking dude. What's his name?
Clint Howard.
Clint Howard.
On that note, thank you for watching another episode. Please like, subscribe, comment, share on our YouTube channel, Not a Strong Start. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Not a Strong Start. Plus hit those noties as we're going to continue to drop notifications, new shows, new everything. Everything's going to be coming out already by the time this episode comes out. You can follow me. I'm your host, Daniel de Sangre, King_Sangre.
I'm Jose Ramos. You can find me at This Is Mi Nombre on Instagram.
I'm Chuck Garcia Bernal. You can find me at Chad Radwell 12.
And is he going to see you at the family reunions?
Maybe.
As you crash the party?
Yeah.